Hello, digital educator, and welcome to this ongoing series of visible learning strategies for digital instruction. In today's session, we are going to be talking about a subset of John Hattie's strategy of teacher clarity that I'm entitling Treating All Students on a Hybrid Schedule as Remote. I know, not a very catchy title, but what is pretty catchy is the impact this is going to have in instruction. Has a 0.75 effect size. Remember, a 0.4 is the hinge point, which is about 1 year's worth of growth over the course of 1 year. So this is with increased teacher clarity, it's going to allow for up to 2 years of growth in 1 year. Does this mean that treating all students as a hybrid schedule as being remote is going to give you 2 years worth of growth? No, but it is proven to be a high impact strategy with teacher clarity. So a quick introduction about this strategy. So one of the greatest things as we're talking to districts here that people are struggling with when they're using this hybrid model or they're using a synchronous instruction model is that it's tough to have kids that are here in person and to have kids that are at home and to treat them as two separate entities. Like, you're going to be on the board, you're going to be writing, you're going to have the video that's going for those that are at home and talking to those that are out in the crowd. But we have an analog crowd and we have a digital crowd. It's like oil and water. Those two just don't mix together. And it becomes way too much to try and manage, to have it be like you're teaching this class, but also on top of that, you got to take care of these kids that are outside of class at the same point. It's about the conceptualization that it is about all of the kids being on the same plane, being in the same activity. When we start thinking about things that way, the task becomes a great deal more attainable. So we should think about all those kids that are in person being remote learners as well too. I'm getting ahead of myself here. It can be really, really difficult to maintain this process of having in-person learners and at-home learners and trying to balance them at the same time as if they're two different groups. And we've also had a number of schools that have said it's really difficult when a kid is supposed to be in person and they just decide they're going to stay home and they pop up as remote. So if it was a year ago, 5 years ago, we would actually probably relish the fact that the kid was supposed to be in school, but instead they showed up online and they were able to get their instruction online despite not coming to school. But under the circumstances, it leaves us ill prepared because we're using paper in order to get the concepts, the application, the extension of the objective portrayed to those kids that are at home to practice them. And so the thing is, if we go through in our asynchronous instruction, we prepare as if every kid was remote all the time. Now, this doesn't mean doing an asynchronous course. It still means doing the things that you're doing, but all the kids having their Chromebooks open in front of them and being able to pass out work digitally instead of doing it through papers, finding ways that you can make those things work. Then no longer is it balancing an in-person group and an at-home group. It's balancing learning and instruction. It's doing it through one consistent means instead of through two consistent means, that oil and the water, and just not mixing in the way that things are going to go. It's trying to keep two balls in the air at once if you keep this up. So instead, just think about every kid as a remote learner and have them do through all the consistent same means. And this is going to be great for other practices too, for like discussion and so on, which is another video. But use this throughout the entirety of your lesson, and you're going to find that your instruction and your clarity is going to be greatly augmented.